So this translates sustainable competitive advantage and repeat customers translates into what they call a
innovation.
Well, no. In the customer's mind, it translates into a respected brand. Are there any brands that you like? Okay.
I can say that all the brands that cater to the super rich in Europe, like for example Hermes.
Okay. How long has that been around?
Been around a long time.
Okay. What is it about Hermes
The
that
best
people
product, the best product.
so
Everything
high
is the
quality,
best.
right? You're talking about
High
high quality.
quality.
Okay.
And actually, and then they have established a reputation that, the bag that they make 100 years ago is still in good condition. And then they only cater to the very rich, like those companies that make the best product. Okay, and they make only a limited number of them. They don't make too many. There's another company that did not really have a good competitive advantage. Is that like for example, a company what they so called Burberry. Burberry, they try to survive, try to make a good product, and they try to update to the new trend. But then they did not really sell too well because they cater to a class a little bit below the super rich. Okay, and then when they cannot sell them, guess what they did to the product? They had to burn them because if they sell them cheap, like going to the other store, their name would go down.
Let me ask you one question about one we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Remember when we talked about Sydney Kimmel and the Jones of New York brand? Now I don't know how strong the brand is now, but
Not
there was
strong.
but there was a stretch there where, let's say 10, 15, maybe 20 years when it was a strong brand for 20 years. What was it about Jones of New York that
But they
made it
cater
successful?
because those are the expansion time during the Clinton years.
Right, but I mean, let me ask you this question. Why did Jones of New York outperform the others during that time period?
During that time period, because that guy, John of New York, actually they they provide some quality to the people who have money. Like for example, I would say that the people who make an income at the time is about $100,000, $150,000 can afford their product in good quality, affordable. And at the time during the boom years, it's that's a perfect market. For the people who make $150,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and did not have money to buy Hermes product for the super rich, but then that's good enough, thing like that. When the time come down to Walmart coming on the market and the economy tank, jobs start losing, it cannot do well anymore.
You brought up some very good points. Before we move on to the next topic, just look at the screen and summarize your thoughts and feelings about the idea of sustainable competitive advantage. Then we'll move on.
Summarize. Okay, you have first number one, you have to know the customer. You have to know the demand.
Right.
About economics, always supply and demand.
Right. So that's part of understanding,
first
right?
principle.
Understanding. Yeah.
Okay. And then and also the timing. So another thing is that something that you think that you always you think that you always have to know your customer, and you have to know whether they can afford that, and you cater to certain market. You can make. There was a Korean guy during the good years. He only make T-shirt, and he become a millionaire.
Were they quality T-shirts? Were they quality T-shirts?
They are fashionable T-shirt.
Fashionable. Okay.
Yeah. So like for example,
so he had. Would you agree with me? He had a temporary competitive advantage.
Exactly.
Not a sustainable one.
Exactly. He picked out the right market at the right time, and he got a killing from that. And as soon as that thing is over, he move on to other things.
Okay.
So you're looking for, just like for you stock picking. You pick out the good one. You pick out the one that only serve you a certain time. So that require your understanding of the market, understanding of the product, understanding of the economy.
Right.
That's a require, and then also have enough guts, to put your bet on it.
Right. So look at the screen for a moment. So I think by now, you've been at this for about a month now. I think you have a good idea of filter number one. Understanding has to be developed, right? You have to you have to develop it. You have to study it. You have to think about it, right? Those three things, and then I think you also have a good understanding of number two now, because you're starting to think in terms of sustainable competitive advantage. You know that means repeat customers. And how do you get repeat customers? You get into their mind with a respected brand, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
also depend on the taste of the people. I'm asking you this question.
Mhm.
How come that guy, my nephew told me that guy, who I forget his name, black guy who, he play around with Trump sometime, he support Trump sometime, and he, go up and down, and he sells sneakers and all that, and he's into rap, you
Oh,
know.
I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the guy who's married to the Kardashian. What's his name?
Yeah, so that's right. I mean, he up and down, how the
Yeah.
the guy is a rapper, and then go into people would spend, black people, other people would spend $1,000 buy his sneaker rather
I
than
think I don't know if it's sustainable, but he's had temporary competitive advantages.
all right, my
I
friend.
think I can explain sort of, because I read that he's bipolar, okay, and he's very creative. So I think when he is in his manic phase, he comes up with very creative things. But then when he's not in his manic phase, well,
All right.
the downside is that when he's in his manic phase, he goes off in tangents. He goes off in other tangents.
That's the thing, is that here's another thing I'll tell you. I'm asking you this question.
Hmm.
Why most of the respected musician of the 60s now selling their
Music catalog.
music catalog to some other
Why?
company?
Why is that?
You tell me. I don't know. Why you tell me?
I think they need the cash because they probably spent through so much of their earnings that, and now they're getting at the end of their career and they want to pass on some of their money to
So
their.
so so those guys understand SCA so correctly. During
Mhm.
their early years, those music are really great. Okay, that propel them to the top. Now
Yeah,
they're at the end of their career. There's no more new music. And then if I can sell this thing for some money, I'm gonna do it right now because then I win both ways.
that's right. That's right. Okay, now we're going to switch topics. I think we've covered one and two pretty well, and I feel confident that you're doing a good job here, and I think you have a very good understanding here now. So let's move on.